Every time they called her beautiful, her mother screamed in pain. They thought it was a blessing. They didn't know it was a debt.
Once upon a time, the night Amara was born, the moon refused to hide. It hung low over the village of Muoba, bright and bold, washing the mud houses and palm trees in soft silver light. Women whispered that the moon only watched that closely when destiny was changing its clothes. Inside a small hut at the edge of the village, a woman named Mama Nkem screamed through her final push. The baby slid into the midwife's hands with a loud, angry cry. But that was not what made everyone gasp. It was the child's face. Smooth, perfect, glowing like she had been carved by a patient God on a day he was in a very good mood. "She's too fine," one of the midwives whispered, almost afraid. "A child that looks like this will not walk through life quietly." Mama Nkem laughed it off. "Does love for my child not count for something?" she would say, pulling Amara close. "If beauty has a price, I will pay it." She did not beg God to make her like this. The price did not wait long. The first time someone praised Amara openly, it was small, almost innocent. At the stream one afternoon, a woman from the next village saw Amara bending to lift her clay pot. Sunlight touched her face and the woman's hand froze mid-air. "Chai," she breathed. "Whose daughter is this? See beauty. Your mother must be proud." Women nodded. Girls stared. Amara blushed and mumbled, "Good afternoon, ma." She walked home quickly, her heart beating fast, embarrassed but secretly warm. That evening, Mama Nkem's back began to ache. At first, she thought it was farm work. She took herbs, rubbed palm oil, lay on the mat early. By midnight, the pain had spread like fire, crawling up her spine and pressing on her chest. She struggled to breathe. Her fingers went cold. "Mama?" Amara whispered in the darkness. "Mama, what is it?" Mama Nkem forced a smile. "It's nothing, my child. Old bones complaining." But her eyes glistened with tears she could not explain. By morning, the pain had disappeared as suddenly as it came. No fever, no cough, no trace. Just a strange weakness in Mama Nkem's legs as she swept the compound. That same morning, 3 different women stopped Amara on the road. "Amara, you are growing into a woman, no?" One said. "Your beauty will open doors your feet have never walked to," another added. Your mother would chop enjoyment when suitors start coming," a third joked. At the exact moment their laughter rose, Mama Nkem's broom slipped from her hand. A sharp pain stabbed her chest so suddenly she had to lean on the wall to stay standing. Her smile faded. A cold thought slipped into her mind like smoke. Is this how it starts? She didn't say a word. She just picked up the broom and swept slowly, as if sweeping fear out of the compound. Years passed. Amara's beauty did not calm down. It grew wilder. By 18, she had become the kind of woman songs are written about. Men who never greeted her mother before now bowed low when they passed. Young boys went to fetch water they didn't need just to cross paths with her at the stream. And with every compliment thrown carelessly at Amara, something inside Mama Nkem bent. When the market women chorused, "Amara, you are shining today," that night Mama Nkem's joints swelled so badly she could not stand. When a group of young men laughed and said, "If beauty was person, it will be you," Mama Nkem's vision blurred for hours and she kept dropping plates like her fingers no longer obeyed her. She tried to hide it. She bit her lip through the pain when Amara was watching. One night, as rain beat loudly on the roof, she called Amara close. "Listen to me," she said, voice weak but sharp. "When people praise you, don't smile too wide. Don't soak it in. Beauty is sweet, but it eats something in return." "Mama, you're just tired," Amara protested. "You work too hard. What does my face have to do with your knees?" Mama Nkem closed her eyes. She wanted to say, "Everything, you are beautiful cuts me where you cannot see." But fear wrapped around her words. She did not want to plant guilt in her daughter's heart. She only said, "Promise me you will not chase praise. Let life praise your character, not just your face." "I promise," Amara whispered, even though she did not fully understand. The village did not care about promises. When the king announced that his only son, Prince Somadina, was finally ready to marry, the entire region shook with excitement. He said he wants a wife whose presence alone can silence a room. Beauty and grace, inside and out, the town crier shouted, rallying the whole village. Immediately, everyone thought of the same name, Amara. On the day of the selection, maidens filled the palace square, vibrant in bright wrappers and jangling beads. But when Amara walked in, a hush fell, like someone dropped a cloth. Even the flies paused. Prince Somadina, standing beside his father, actually forgot to breathe for a moment. It was not just the way Amara looked, it was the quiet way she carried herself, like someone who had seen pain and decided to walk gently so she wouldn't break anything else. The whisper started like a small wave, then grew into a tide. Chai, see beauty. Her mother is blessed. If the prince does not choose her, his eyes are blind. Back in their hut at the edge of the village, Mama Nkem was alone, kneeling on a mat praying. Every time someone somewhere said, Amara is beautiful, a sharp, invisible nail drove deeper into her body. Her breath came in short, painful gasps. Her fingers went cold. God, she whispered, if a sacrifice must be made, take my beauty, take my strength, but don't let this child suffer. Her hands shook, her heart pounded like a drum trying to escape her chest. At the palace, Prince Somadina stepped forward. His voice rang out clear. I have seen many faces, he said slowly, his eyes on Amara. Amara, daughter of Nkem, step forward. The crowd exploded. Drums shook the sky. Women ululated. Men shouted. Children jumped. Compliments flew like birds released from cages. Queen Amara, see how she fits beside him. Her mother's suffering has turned to joy. At that exact moment, in front of her hut, Mama Nkem collapsed. Villagers who witnessed the incident rushed to her. They carried her to the healer's hut. When Amara returned from the palace, still dizzy with shock and fear and attention, she found her mother lying on a mat, eyes half open, lips pale. Mama, Amara dropped to her knees. Mama, talk to me, please. Mama Nkem managed a weak smile. So, the prince chose you. Tears spilled down Amara's face. Yes, but what does that matter if you're like this? I will tell him no. I don't care about the palace. I just want you. The healer, an old woman with eyes that had seen too much, watched them quietly. She had been in the village long enough to hear the whispers about the strange connection between Amara's beauty and her mother's pain. She had also seen patterns others refused to notice. She cleared her throat. Nkem, she said, you never told the girl, did you? Mama Nkem swallowed. What would I say? My child, every time the world calls you beautiful, it drags me closer to my grave. Should I make her hate the face God handed her? The healer sighed, knowing the answer already. Listen, she said gently to Amara. When you were born, your grandmother came to me. A spirit spoke in her dream. This child will have two faces, one for the world, one for her mother. The more the world loves one, the more the other will suffer. Hide her beauty, protect her mother. Amara's heart stopped. Hide my beauty? How? By refusing praise, the healer continued. By staying away from places where people gather just to look. By making your life so ordinary that your face becomes background, not headline. Amara thought of the palace, the prince, the way the entire village had screamed when he called her name. Her stomach twisted. We didn't hide it, she whispered. We did the opposite. The healer nodded sadly. And your mother's body has been paying the debt. Silence filled the hut, heavy and thick. That night, as the village celebrated outside with drums and dancing, the healer gave Amara a choice. If you marry the prince, she said, your name will travel beyond this village. Songs will be sung about your face. Praise will pour over you like rain in rainy season. The debt your mother pays now will triple. Amara's eyes widened in horror. So, if I become queen, my beauty will kill her? The healer did not answer immediately. She looked down at Mama Nkem's frail body. The skin that used to glow was now dull. Sometimes, the healer said slowly, beauty is not a blessing. It is a test. Amara sat frozen.
Her mind ran back through years of her mother's sudden pains, strange illnesses, unexplained weaknesses that always seemed to appear after people praised her. The pattern burned bright now. It had always been there. She just refused to see it. The healer leaned closer. "There is one more thing," she whispered. "The spirit in your grandmother's dream promised that the curse would break if just once you chose your mother's life over the world's admiration. Not in secret, in public, where praise cannot follow you." "How?" Amara's voice cracked. "Reject the crown," the healer said. "Refuse the prince in front of everyone. Choose a life that will make them stop talking about how you look and start talking about how strange you are." Amara's heart pounded so hard. Reject a prince? Throw away a crown people would kill for? Turn her own beauty into something the village mocked? The healer's eyes softened. Sometimes the only way to break a curse is to break people's expectations too. The next morning, the palace square was full again. The king, dressed in gold and red, sat on his throne. Prince Sumadina stood beside him, eyes searching the crowd for the girl whose face had refused to leave his mind all night. Drummers beat slow rhythms. The air tasted of anticipation. Amara walked into the square wearing the simplest wrapper she owned. No beads, no oil in her hair, no earrings, just her bare face, still beautiful no matter how she tried to hide it. The crowd erupted again. "See her, our queen, our wife." Her beauty alone can bring tourists to this kingdom. Amara swallowed hard. Her hands trembled, but her steps did not. Prince Sumadina smiled when their eyes met. "Amara," he said, voice warm, "I am glad you came. Stand beside me. Let us begin the rites." Amara took a deep breath. The healer's words echoed in her ears. "Choose your mother's life over the world's admiration." She knelt not beside him, but in front of the king. "My king," she said, loud enough for every ear to catch, "I cannot marry your son." Silence crashed over the square. The king blinked. "What did you say?" "I cannot marry your son," Amara repeated, voice shaking but clear. "If I do, my mother will die. My beauty is not free. Every praise they pour on me becomes pain in her body. I will not stand on a balcony smiling while my mother's bones crack in the dark." Murmurs broke out. "She's mad. Is this pride? How can someone refuse a prince?" Prince Sumadina's face tightened with confusion and hurt. "Amara, if this is about fear, I promise it is not fear, it is debt, one that I will no longer let her pay alone." She reached up and did something no one expected. With her own hands, in front of the entire village, she grabbed a small knife from the nearest guard's belt, took a lock of her long, beloved hair, and cut it off. Gasps exploded. The glossy black strands fell to the dusty ground like pieces of a crown she was tearing apart. "If my beauty must hurt someone," Amara said, tears running down her cheeks, "then let it hurt me. Let them say I am foolish. Let them say I wasted my chance. Better that than for every compliment to be a wound in my mother's flesh." When she was done, she didn't look ugly, but she didn't look like the goddess they had worshipped with their eyes either. She looked human, ordinary, breakable. The silence turned heavy. Then, from the back of the crowd, a woman's voice cracked the air. "Enough," the voice said. "The promise has been kept." The crowd turned. The healer stood there. "Years ago," she said, stepping forward, "this village made a trade without knowing. You fed this girl's beauty with your words and gave her mother your sickness in return. You thought it was just coincidence. Today, the debt is cancelled." As she spoke, Amara felt a strange warmth rise from the base of her neck, spreading through her body like liquid sunlight. Mama Nkem suddenly woke up in the healer's hut, feeling the pain in her bones finally slip away like a thief. She sat up with a shaky laugh, tears pouring down her face. In the square, people felt a deep, heavy shame, like a weight on their hearts. "You praised her face," the healer continued, "but ignored the woman who raised it. You worshipped the fruit and starved the tree." She turned to Amara, who knelt with hacked hair and swollen eyes. "Child," she said softly, "your sacrifice has broken the chain. From today, your beauty belongs to you alone. It will no longer drink from your mother's life." Prince Sumadina stepped down from the platform. He walked to Amara slowly, eyes never leaving her face. Not the smoothness of her skin, not the curve of her cheek, but the fierce, trembling courage in her eyes. "Amara," he said quietly, so only he and the front row could hear. "Today, you silenced it with truth, not vanity." He knelt beside her. "If you still don't want the crown, I will not force you. But know this, I am not in love with your beauty. I am in awe of your heart." The crowd stirred. A new kind of whisper started. She refused a crown to save her mother. Who does that? This is beyond beauty. For the first time in her life, the words flying around Amara were not about her face. They were about her choice, her courage, her love. "My life will not be a show again," she said softly. "If I ever stand beside you, it will be because they know my story, not just my skin." The king, who had been silent all this time, finally spoke. His voice shook slightly. "Let it be so," he declared. "The girl who values her mother's life over a crown won't be forced into one. If she returns, it will be her choice. And this village, start appreciating the hidden sacrifices behind every admired face." Amara walked home without the prince, without jewels, without songs following her name. Only a few children trailed behind out of habit, then stopped when they realized there was no spectacle to watch. At the edge of the village, she saw Mama Nkem standing outside her hut, straight, tall, no stick in her hand. The woman who could barely move yesterday now walked toward her with steady steps. "Amara," she whispered. "Mama," Amara choked. They ran into each other's arms. They held on like shipwreck survivors who had finally reached shore. "I felt it," Mama Nkem said, laughing and crying at the same time. "The pain left just like that. My bones feel like they are 20 years younger." Amara pulled back, eyes shining. "Then it was worth it." Mama Nkem asked quietly, "Do you regret it? The crown, the prince, the life you could have had?" Amara gazed at her mom's bright eyes and steady hands. "Let them keep their crown," she said. "I already have the only title that matters, your daughter." "Let them keep their crown," she said. "I already have the only title that matters, your daughter." "Let them keep their crown," she said. "I already have the only title that matters, your daughter." "Let them keep their crown," she said. "I already have the only title that matters, your daughter." "Let them keep their crown," she said. "I already have the only title that matters." Every village had that one girl everyone called beautiful. But what if every compliment hurt the woman who gave her life? If you had to pick between admiration and love, which would you choose? Like this video, comment your answer, and follow or subscribe for stories that reveal the hidden cost behind what the world celebrates.